Emily was an average girl, but that's how these stories always start, isn't it? It's been a while. 4 months to be precise. Yes! Hi guys, yes, I'm back to make more videos. And the only person who probably cares is my nephew. Hi, Briar. So, funny thing is, I actually have two videos that are recorded and waiting to be edited, others that are written and waiting to be filmed. As you might be able to notice, I haven't done any of that. And it's for a reason. If you can't tell by what I've just put in the box, I have been writing and reading, and it's been a lot of work. So, about winter 2009, I first penned those words that I just read to you guys. And as of a couple days ago, I finally put it into the third version of the draft. The first version was not that good. The second version was read by a friend. And then the third version, I am putting out more widely to a few beta readers. And to make sure I actually did it instead of goofing off like I've been doing for the past 13 years, I told myself I wasn't going to do anything fun, wasn't going to play a lot of games, wasn't going to make videos. I was just going to do this. I had the time. There was nothing else to do, so 6 copies of my manuscript are, well, 5 now because my brother took his, but it's getting real. You may wonder, what's my story about? I'm gonna get to that kind of, but first, I have some thoughts I wanted to share. So yeah, not really gonna be a funny video. Sorry, Briar, but I was originally waiting on some other people to make this video, but I got tired of waiting for other people, so I'm just doing this by myself. So I kind of hinted at this in my video about my grandpa, but I kind of wanted to make a more in-depth video about it, talking about this, because it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. So yeah, sorry. Not a funny video. Next one, maybe. We'll see. One thing I've been thinking about a decent amount lately is the fact that, when people think they want to make a difference in the world, they think about the big people. They're Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. I know those are examples of people who would arguably didn't make great changes in the world, but it's what popped in my head. This isn't scripted, guys. But still, people think, make big difference, you need to be a big person. And that's something I've disagreed about the more and more I've thought about it. I think the small things can be just as impactful. I talked about in my video about my grandpa how he got me interested in computers. He's the reason I'm in the career I'm in now, because of games he brought us, honestly. It was just games. That and I saw him working on our computer, but things he wouldn't have thought of as significant, things he probably honestly didn't remember at his end, but they were things that impacted me a lot. So it's gotten me thinking more that maybe we should pay more attention to the small things we do in our daily life, that, the small ways we can make an impact. I read a book a while ago that kind of talked about this sort of thing and how it seemed to insinuate that we need to be doing grand, big things to make a difference. And I know it's not true for me. So why would it be true for anything else? And I've kind of taken that to heart lately. And I've been, spending more time with my nephews. I've been spending time with my one nephew, Atticus, and it's meant a lot to him. And I've been hanging out with my nephews, Luke and Briar, spending time with them, putting effort into their lives. I've even shown Briar how to edit videos because I do it and now I can share it with him. I didn't get that. I learned this all by myself, which is part of the reason it's not that great, but whatever. I won a short film festival. I should not be complaining. But I guess it's just something I wanted to say because we think being average is a bad thing, and I don't think so. I think being a normal everyday person is kind of, in a sense, impossible. No matter what you do, you're going to have an effect. You're going to impact people. You may not buy a rocket and go on the moon, but you'll have an impact one way or another, whether it's through direct action or through just your influence through kids, family, friends, and you may never see it. I don't think my grandpa really necessarily saw how he had an effect in my life, but he had it. And chances are I'll have an effect that I'll never see. And that's okay. It's got really somber, but I don't really care. It's just something I wanted to share. So, how does that relate to my story? Well, I can't really tell because telling that would be ruining it, but I think you can get an idea just from that opening. In fact, let me read the rest of it. Emily was an average girl, but that's how these stories always start, isn't it? An average girl finds her true potential and goes out to do extraordinary things. This may be the case for stories, but life isn't a fairy tale. Things don't always end with everything wrapped up nicely with a little bow on top. Real life is hard. It's not easy to be average. My story, and most of my stories, is not a happy story, but I don't think that's a bad thing. And it's another thing I've been thinking about lately. A lot of the stories that stick aren't happy. When people first ask me what my basic, elevator pitch was, I would say, well, it's more Oedipus than Iron Man. And the thing is, there's a reason Oedipus has stuck the test of time, and it's not the incest. We gravitate to those tragedies, those dark things that are relatable, that we can look at and learn things from. I think a lot of the great stories are those more sad things, Romeo and Juliet, classic romance novel. Those characters die at the end. Lord of the Rings, great story, a lot of hardship, and Frodo doesn't come back. When I realized that, I kind of became okay with the new elevator pitch for my story. It's the story about a girl who loses her mom and tries to replace her with a toxic relationship. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I know very little about hormonal teenage girls, but I hope I did a good job. And I'm hoping to get females to read it and help me get that perspective a little bit, because oh boy, do I need it. Even though it's not a happy story, I hope it's a helpful story. And I hope you read it someday, whoever is watching this. Be a bit older before you do, because not a happy story. Anyway, now that I am done with this version of the manuscript, even though I'm pretty sure I have at least a year left before I have anything representing a final copy, I will start putting those things up that I have made. I actually have a prime opportunity to finish one of them in the coming weeks. And oh boy, that one's going to be fun. A little more funny, a little more weird, but I'm looking forward to making it. Anyway, this is Seth. This has been a thorn in my side. Go be average.